So to make Sass-Quatch'S body, this is 1 inch thick foam, the same kind of foam that you would use to make a seat cushion. I just traced the pattern on there all the way around. And then I cut it out, and I use the scissors. Some recommend using a razor blade, but that doesn't quite work for me, so I just use the scissors. I just make sure I keep it straight. Now I am applying some contact cement all the way along the edges here. I leave the bottom open because, you want to keep that open. And then after 10-15 minutes, you want to let it cure for about 10-15 minutes before you try to put them together. Otherwise, they're not going to stick together. And there we go. Now this I am drawing where I want the neck hole, and I'm getting that cut out. And then I also cut along the bottom here to make it a little bit bigger to fit my hand and arm. Now with the fur, just like I did with the face, I make sure that it's going down. And then I trace out, well, I'm tracing around my pattern. I'm leaving a couple inches on each side there. And then I'm extending the bottom so it fits in there. Now I'm using a razor blade. Don't use the scissors to cut the fur, otherwise you're going to cut off the fur that you want hanging down. After I sew it, I turn it right side out, and there you go. I scrunch up the foam body and stick it inside, making sure that it's filling out the fur just like it's supposed to, and I'm hot gluing the excess here into the neck. That's why I left a few inches at the top so that I can go down inside. I then made a sleeve to extend the neck all the way down to the end of the body because I'm going to sew the end of it to it. Here it's all sewn up, and I turn it right side out. Now it doesn't really matter what color the neck is or the sleeve is, because when you're performing with the puppet you're not going to see that anyway. So I just pin it to the neck, and then I sew it, and then after I sew it, I slip it through the body, and I pin it to the bottom of the body because I'm going to sew all the way around, and that will hold the head and the neck inside. And using a pattern I made, I trace out the arms, and then I cut them out with a razor blade. For the hands, I use my pattern to cut out on similar color fleece because it's nice and stretchy. Now I cut out 4 of the hands, 2 for each hand, and I sew each one of the hands to one of the ends of one of the fur arms that I had cut out. And then I will put them together and sew them and turn them right side out. Here's the arm and the hand all sewn together. Now I turn them right side out. And this can be a bit of a struggle, but you can do it. And when I get the fingers out, I get the hand out, I take a pencil, the eraser end of a pencil, and just push the fingers through all the way up. And I leave this opening to put the foam hand inside. I take the same pattern I used for the hands and trace them on 1/2 inch foam. Now I'm doing 4 of these. Then I get them cut out, just like so. Now the wires are going to be sandwiched between those two, the armature wires. Now you can do a hand without wires, or you can put wires in there. The wires make it posable. Now you see the rods, I have the ends I bent into a P shape, and now I'm cutting 10-inch long pieces of 18 gauge armature wire, and I'm twisting them together. So the 10-inch pieces I bend in half and then twist them together to reinforce them. And then once I get all the ones I want on there, I twist them all together. And now I am just putting them on the foam the way I want them. I cut the ends and then you bend the tips so they're not poking through. Now I'm using the hot glue here and just press that on there. I'll be careful when using the hot glue because it's called hot glue for a reason. Now here I am stuffing the foam rubber hand in to the material hand, and it can be quite a challenge, but you can get it in there. You'll have to fight with it a little bit, but it will fit. And then I just sew it shut all the way around the rod there. The rods, by the way, are just coat hanger wires. Now this is 1 inch thick foam, and I measured 1 inch, and I just cut that all the way down. Now this is going inside the arm, so I cut off a bit of it. And this is also a challenge to put in there. I'm sure there's better ways to do that. I had to cut some of it off there in order for the hand to move properly. Because if I pushed it down too far, then the hand wasn't going to move freely. Now I sew the end shut, and then when I'm done with that, I sew it right to the shoulder. You want to make sure you're sewing it on there easier. I do recommend pinning it to the shoulder first. Now these are the handles that I made. These are 1/2 inch wooden dowels that I cut, and I drilled a hole in there. I also painted it black with some black latex paint. I just put a dab of super glue on there and just push the end of the rod into the handle and let that dry. Hello, I'm Sass-Quatch, and I got a little something to say. Next time you're out there in the forest with your phone or your camera, respect my privacy a little bit. You're always trying to get a picture of me or get some video of me when I'm trying to just quietly get a drink of water or do my business out there in the forest. The forest is my home. You don't see me coming into your home and trying to get a picture of you now, do you? Trying to get a video, posting things about you all over the internet? No, of course not. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. And remember, respect my privacy. Bye for now.